Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the work of a true pioneer in education, Maria Montessori. We'll be drawing from the incredible research material of Dr. Sudheendra S G, and this explainer is really for anyone, whether you're a teacher, a student, or just a curious mind. We're going to explore the birth of a revolutionary idea, the scientific learning pedagogy. So let's get right into it.
So where does this all start? Well, our story begins not with a theory, but with a place. A very, very different kind of classroom that would end up sparking a global movement. I want you to picture this. It's Rome, 1907. We're in a working-class neighborhood, inside a building they called the Casa dei Bambini, the children's house. And what's strange is, there's no teacher up at the front yelling instructions. Instead, there's this quiet, focused hum. You see kids working on their own, completely absorbed in what they're doing. It was unlike any school that had ever existed before.
What was happening in that room wasn't just some new teaching trick. It was the very beginning of a revolution in how we even understand learning itself. And it was all designed, all engineered by one remarkable woman, Maria Montessori.
So, who was this woman who basically turned education on its head? Well, the answer, and this might surprise you, lies in her background. See, she wasn't a teacher by training. She was a doctor. This is the story of how a physician became a visionary educator.
Born in 1870, Maria Montessori was shattering expectations right from the get-go. At a time when women were shut out of most professional fields, she fought her way through, becoming one of Italy's first female doctors in 1896. And this medical training, it became the absolute bedrock of her entire philosophy, leading her straight to opening that first children's house in 1907. And this brings us to the core idea that connected her two worlds. Through her medical work, especially with children who had disabilities, Montessori had this profound realization. She came to believe that education shouldn't be about just forcing a rigid curriculum on kids. No, it should be a science of observation, which she called scientific pedagogy. The idea was simple but totally radical. Just watch how children learn naturally and then create an environment that guides that process. So, what did her observations actually show her? She saw that children, when you give them the right environment, have this deep, innate desire to learn, and they have an incredible capacity for concentration. This discovery led her to develop the core principles of the Montessori method. These pillars all work together in this beautiful system. It all starts with the prepared environment. Everything is child-sized, it's orderly, and it's designed to make you want to explore. Now, within this space, children get freedom to choose their own work, but, and this is key, it's within clear, structured limits. The learning is all hands-on, using these special materials that engage all their senses. You'll also see mixed age groups, which is amazing, because the older kids naturally start mentoring the younger ones. And finally, all of this is supported by long, uninterrupted work cycles, giving kids the time they need to get into that state of deep focus and really master something. The teacher's role in all of this? Not a lecturer, more like a quiet guide. And this goal of intrinsic motivation, learning for the love of it, without needing rewards or fearing punishments. It's captured perfectly in her famous advice, never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed. That's such a powerful statement, isn't it? It's all about fostering true independence, where the joy comes from the achievement itself. Now, as you can imagine, her ideas caught fire. They spread way beyond that first little classroom in Rome. It quickly became a global movement, and one chapter of her life turned out to be especially transformative, her time in India. Her work got the attention of some real heavy hitters, like Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, and that legacy is still going strong today. Innovators like Wikipedia's founder, Jimmy Wales, and the guys who started Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, they all credit their Montessori education for sparking their creativity and their ability to think for themselves. But one of the most pivotal chapters in her life, and in the development of her whole philosophy, started with a journey that was never meant to last as long as it did. Her time in India was truly, profoundly transformational. Okay, so Montessori arrives in India in 1939 just to run a training course. But then World War II breaks out, and because she was an Italian citizen, she was interned by the British authorities. What could have been a disaster actually became this period of incredible growth. She ended up spending nearly 7 years in India, training hundreds of teachers and really refining her ideas. And it was during her time in India, inspired by its deep cultural and spiritual traditions, that she developed one of her most profound concepts, cosmic education. This wasn't about teaching history and science as separate subjects. It was about showing children the interconnectedness of everything, from the smallest atom to the biggest galaxy, to help them understand their own place in this vast universe.
And you know what? This vision really struck a chord with India's own great thinkers. The Nobel-winning poet Rabindranath Tagore actually brought her methods into his schools, and Mahatma Gandhi himself praised her work for building up the very qualities he valued most: inner discipline and self-reliance. That legacy is absolutely alive and well in India today. The Montessori method is now woven right into the fabric of the country's education system. You'll find it adapted and used everywhere, from big city preschools to rural early childhood programs like the Anganwadis in Karnataka. It really proves how universal her ideas are.
So, this all brings us to the big question, right? The so what? What can we, as modern educators and students, actually take away from these century-old ideas? Why does any of this matter now, maybe more than ever? Well, just think about it. In a world that's changing faster than we can keep up, a world where the most valuable skills are creativity and adaptability, Montessori's approach suddenly feels incredibly relevant. It's almost like it's an education designed not just for a specific time, but for life itself.
For all the educators out there, the message is pretty clear. Try to shift your role from being an instructor to being a guide. Trust the child's natural curiosity. Take time to observe them, understand their needs, and then prepare an environment where they can just flourish. At its core, it's about respecting each child as a capable, independent learner.
And for all the students listening, the lesson is so empowering. Your education is yours. Don't just wait to be told what to learn. Take charge of it. Explore what genuinely interests you and focus on discovering the connections between ideas, because that's where the real deep understanding lies.
And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. It has direct policy relevance today. Just look at how well it lines up with India's 2020 National Education Policy. Montessori's hands-on learning is exactly what we now call experiential learning. Her freedom within limits is the same idea behind flexibility in curriculum. And her cosmic education? That's the very heart of the new call for a holistic, multidisciplinary education.
Ultimately, I think Montessori's work reminds us of a fundamental truth. The goal of education, it isn't to just pour facts into a child's head like it's an empty bucket. It's to light a fire within them, a lifelong passion for curiosity, for discovery, and for learning. And we'll end with this powerful thought from Maria Montessori herself. Her work was always about more than just classrooms. It was about nurturing the incredible potential within every single child, because in them, she believed, lies the hope and the promise for all of our futures. Thanks so much for joining me for this.